The road may take us wherever it likes, but for me, they all lead back home. And although it might be unorthodox to celebrate sweets before substance, in some cases, I think it will just serve as inspiration for whatever comes before it. So without further ado, let's get started, with none other than a celebrated favorite that will send yourself or your guests swooning. Start by setting up a little water in your pot for double boiling. While your water comes to a boil, it's time to prep your 4 ounces of dark chocolate. If you don't have a chopping knife handy, a few light breaks from a hammer will do just fine. Once your water's boiled, drop your chocolate pieces into the top pot. I'm trying to use about at least 70 to 100% chocolate solid. You don't need to worry so much about the sweetness of this because the sugar will take care of that. You want to try to chase the chocolate in there. To your broken chocolate, add 8 softened tablespoons of butter and stir as it continues to melt. Keep stirring until the chocolate is completely melted and then set it aside to cool. So we're going to take 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar with a pinch of kosher salt and then stir your ingredients to combine. In a separate bowl, crack and whisk together 6 eggs. So here's a little treat for the adult. Put a little bit of coffee liqueur in there, about a tablespoon or so to enhance the flavor, a pinch of kosher salt. Add a little love. Once your eggs are prepped, set them aside and take your melted chocolate, combining it with your dry ingredients. This is a good way to cool it down. Stir the chocolate up with your flour mixture and gradually add in your eggs. You know how on television they say, add it just little by little, but really, they just dump the whole thing in. No, really, you do need to add this little by little, but I assure you that it turns out looking a whole lot like this. And you will be very happy and proud of yourself for it. That looks very sexy. It's sure to impress whoever you plan on making this for. In this case, I'm just making it for myself today because I need a little chocolate fix. Don't judge. Butter up your ramekins and drop in a dab of flour or cocoa powder to coat the sides. Have it come out and turn it so it gets all around every side. Want to ladle it about an inch from the top. Place your filled ramekin in the refrigerator to chill for about an hour. Then, it's time for it to get baked in the oven. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees and let the mix cook on a baking sheet for about 15 minutes. When time's up, take your cake out of the oven, let it cool for about 10 minutes. I like to keep it in the ramekin, just to keep it warm. But for the love of God, remember to use oven mitts when transferring it to another plate. And dig right in. That's awesome if I do say so myself. And now, having conquered the greatness that is chocolate, we move on to 2 more amazing delights. Gonna get ourselves a cup of sugar. It's gonna be a low heat. You're just gonna add your sugar little by little. I try to do it in 4 times so that it coats the bottom. A little hard to wait, but if you do it all in one go, or if you stir it, the sugar molecules are going to get agitated and it's going to crystallize instead of actually becoming a runny caramel. So just do your best. Patience is a virtue. Patience is definitely the name of the game when you're making caramel. Simply shuffle your pot to move your sugar as it melts and add the sugar in gradually. He is taking on this gorgeous color, and that's what we want. It's taking on a bit of a amber Coca-Cola kind of color, and that's when you know it's done. So now comes the fun part. Stand back, let the good times roll.
I know how many people out there love caramel and you want to taste the wonderful fruits of your labor, but I would not do that if I were you, because your tongue will burn, and it's not, your tongue's just gonna burn, and you just really don't want that. I'm gonna add a little bit of fleur de sel, or some fancy French sea salt. Just gonna swirl our caramel, make sure it's evenly distributed. How you know your caramel's done, if you don't have a candy thermometer like we don't have here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it coats the back of my spoon, and it does. I'm not going to touch it because it's very hot. I'm just going to pour it into our bowl. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And there you have it. You could just stop there with this fantastic salted caramel, but I want to kick it up one more notch.
So you're all probably wondering what to do with the rest of this gorgeous caramel. Well, I have an idea. We're going to make it into ice cream.
For your ice cream base, you want to measure out a cup of heavy cream and 2 cups of whole milk.
We're only going to add a little bit of sugar, about a little less than a 1/4 cup. And the reason really is because your caramel is going to be sugar enough for the mixture. It's going to be your basic ice cream base. When it starts to bubble at the edges and a little steam's coming up, that is when we are going to turn it off.
After you set aside your milk and cream to cool down, crack 3 eggs into a separate bowl to whisk.
Careful. You're going to continuously whisk. That is the objective here, and you're just going to do little by little. If you do it all in one go, your eggs are going to scramble, so just be careful. Pour it back in.
Set the mixture over a low heat and stir constantly while it thickens to a custard.
I'm just going to stir all of this. How you know it's ready? You just take the back, if it coats the back of the spoon, you're doing well.
Once it's thickened, add in your caramel and stir until it's all completely dissolved. A little helpful step to do is to strain the mixture through to avoid any unwanted lumps.
Cover the top with a little plastic wrap.
Cover your container and place it to chill in the fridge for at least 2 hours, or at best, overnight. When it's ready, uncover the mixture and give it a quick stir to mix in any cream that might have settled on top.
We're going to pour it in here. And the reason you want to do that is because, well, if you're a klutz like me, you're probably going to get more of it, not into the ice cream maker, but more on yourself.
Then, all you gotta do is assemble your ice cream machine and let it take care of the rest. Let the ice cream churn for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until all the texture becomes more solid.
Look at that. So beautiful and thick. Like I can't even shake it down. That's gonna be good. One of those ice creams that I just want to savor every little bit. Look at how beautiful and thick that is. It's normal for it to be a little on the runny side. Should be okay in the freezer.
This recipe makes about a quart of ice cream, which will store well in a plastic container.
We're just going to smooth it out a little bit. I try to leave a little space at the top because some of it is still liquidy. It might expand a little bit. And we just seal it up, and voila! Goes into your freezer. In the meantime, I'm going to have a little bit of the leftover that just didn't make it in there. I'm scraping it just like when I introduced this at Thanksgiving this year, and my aunts just kept scraping the tray trying to get the rest of it. Her sisters and she liked to do that. Fighting over the last bite. Certainly was the biggest compliment of all, though.
Decadent desserts made with the simplest of ingredients in my own kitchen? Now that's my idea of heaven.